everybody! Welcome back to Cooking with Casey. Today we are going to be making some peanut butter s'mores quesadillas. Now these are really delicious, fun, easy snack to make, and I am going to show you how to do it. So what we need today is we need some peanut butter, some mini marshmallows, some mini chocolate chips, and tortillas. Not very hard, pretty simple. So I'm gonna start off by spraying a pan over here. And please, if you are young, please have an adult with you to cook on the stove. And I am gonna go ahead and heat up the stove kind of to a medium-high heat and let it start warming up while we prep our stuff. So I'm gonna start off by taking a big scoop of the peanut butter, and I'm gonna put it on my tortilla, and I want to spread this out all over. And I even wanna spread it all the way to the edges. Don't put too much in there though, because as this starts to melt on the stove, it's going to get really creamy and it's gonna wanna run out the sides. So we don't wanna put too much on there. So I'm gonna just bring it as close to the edge as I can, just like that. And then I'm just gonna finish it out right there. And I'm gonna put just a little more on this side since it's really thin. Alrighty, so there's our peanut butter. Next, I'm going to take my mini marshmallows and I am going to sprinkle them on only half of our quesadilla. And the reason we're gonna do just half is because we're gonna fold it over, and if we put it on this side, it'll all spill out everywhere. Okay, perfect. Then I'm gonna take those mini chocolate chips and I'm gonna kind of fill in all those gaps. That. Perfect. All right. So now I'm going to take this and just fold it over and pat it down. Now I'm going to take this over to the stove, and remember this is already warming up, so we want to make sure we're really careful. And I'm going to just drop it right in like that. And now I'm gonna leave it on here for just probably 30 seconds. And I usually will flip back and forth 30 seconds on each side-ish until it starts to brown on each side and starts to kind of puff up a little bit. Those marshmallows will begin to melt down, but when they first start melting, instead of getting smaller, they tend to expand and get really puffy, and then they smush down. So you can always tell that it's beginning to melt when it actually starts puffing up just a little bit, and then it'll start getting smaller. So I'm gonna leave that right there just for a few more seconds before I flip it over. And while I prep that, I'm gonna get my plate ready. I also am going to use a pizza cutter to slice up my quesadilla at the end, so I'm gonna make sure I have that all ready to go. All right, so I'm gonna flip it the first time. It shouldn't have color on it yet, maybe a little, but probably not. Okay. And you can already see how the peanut butter is starting to melt, and I like to kind of poke down on the edges a little bit. But yeah, you see how that's gonna wanna run? That's why we don't wanna put too much peanut butter. And I use the spatula to push down just so I can feel those marshmallows. See how they're melting. All right. Okay, we're gonna flip it back over. Oop. All right, pinch those edges because I don't want it to completely fly out the end. So I like to pinch it off. Plus, if you pinch it off like this a little bit, once you cut it at the end, it gives you a little breathing room for the stuff to kind of push up to. Because when you cut it, it likes to ooze. Okay, so you see how it's puffing right now? You see how this middle part is all poofy? That is the marshmallows getting bigger. They're all fluffy right now. I can feel it expanding in there. That's crazy. Okay. Boop. All right, and so now we have a nice little bit of color. And I know that everything is getting really melty on the inside. So this is my last flip. It's all puffy. And if you push down just a little, don't push down hard, it helps the tortilla get a little browner faster. All right. So I'm gonna take it over here and I'm gonna make sure to turn off the stove. So now I wanna take that pizza cutter, and I personally like to make about 3 or 4 slices. And you might want to have an adult do this or just wait a couple seconds if you're making it at home, only because it's really warm still. Alrighty. So this is all that goodness on the inside. These are really warm, so I would normally wait a couple seconds, but I want you to see how nice and melty that gets on the inside. Okay, I'm gonna take a bite of the ones that have kind of cooled off a little bit because those ones are way too warm for me to bite out of. But all right, so there you guys go. We have a delicious little peanut butter s'mores quesadilla snack, and I'm going to enjoy these now. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Bye.